Mr. Chancellor, I have the pleasure, a distinct pleasure, to inform you that the candidate whose name appears on the program is to receive a Doctor of Philosophy in Leadership and Management, NQF Level 10, honoris causa. The candidate is none other than Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho, ya Christian Nelumbu, Ohamba, yOukwanyama. Round of applause. Mr. Chancellor, at this point, I would like to invite to the podium our Vice Chancellor to read the citation, which will then be also translated by Tate Unjumbala. Mr. Vice Chancellor, can we have your honor and pleasure? Thank you.
Thank you indeed, Professor Semende, for this opportunity. Your Excellencies, Mr. Chancellor, Sir, I have the great honor in reading the citation for the conferment of the degree of Doctorate honoris causa to one of the outstanding and respected national and traditional leader of enormous stature in Namibia, whom the Council of the Namibia University of Science and Technology has found worthy of being bestowed this highest academic honor. It is none other than Ohamba, yOukwanyama, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho, ya Christian Nelumbu, whose leadership achievements are widely acclaimed. NUST is extremely proud and honored to be associated with her. Her sacrifices and leadership ability are widely acclaimed. In the contemporary world of today, characterized with complex cyclical vulnerabilities and development challenges, such as poverty, food insecurity, natural hazards, gender inequality, and microeconomic shocks, amongst others, selfless acts by individuals that support mankind are rare, come by, and hence the need for this recognition. Mr. Chancellor, the Namibia University of Science and Technology, like other universities around the world, has an academic tradition of awarding honorary doctorates to recognize distinguished personalities for their exceptional contribution to humanity. As an inspirational advocate for education, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho, ya Christian Nelumbu, is a distinguished Namibian citizen, a woman of true humility, strong leadership acumen, and philanthropy. Allow me to take you a little bit to her childhood, early childhood. Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho, ya Christian Nelumbu, Ohamba of the Ohamba Traditional Authority, was born in the family of the Ohamba of Ohkwanyama at Ofiti village, west of Onchiva in Angola, on 7th August 1931. Her mother, Nekondo ya Shangeya, was a daughter of Nahango ya Mobilioli. Tongue twisters for me, bear with me. From the maternal lineage, Meekulu is Omukwanyangombe, totem of the cattle, and from the paternal lineage, she is Omukwandimbe, totem of the millet. She left in Ongo for only a short time. Her aunt, Kalinasho ya Deindweta, the Ohamba Yokashi Hambo, and Mandume's niece took her when she was just a toddler. However, she did not stay there for long, probably 10 years. And then her aunt passed away. May her soul rest in peace. After Kalinasho's death, she was then adopted by Vilo Yaweyilu, an uncle who brought her to the Namibian side of the border, at the Ohamba where she grew up. Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho says she came to Ohamba during World War II, and at that time, it was regarded as Hitler's war. It was probably in the early 1940s. Although cultural and traditional conditions of the time were not inclined for education, ladies and gentlemen, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho managed to attend some school. She was a learner at the Ohamba Primary School, where she completed sub A and B. The young ones would not know subs. They are currently grade 1 and 2. And her teacher was Mateus Shikeva. She then proceeds to standards 1 and 2, equivalent to grade 3 and 4, taught by Timotheus in Tulula. At the time, many children who wished to become Christians would, in addition to completing schools, will complete baptism and confirmation classes. Therefore, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho attended baptism classes in the denomination of then Evangelical Lutheran Ohamba Gavango Church, or ELOC, under the stewardship of Mika Hiyonanye. She was then baptized and confirmed by Reverend Ismail Hinda. She did and completed the studies at the Angela Seminary, the Finnish Missionary Society establishment currently in the Ohangwena region. After confirmation, she became a member of the Angela Parish, but later she moved on to Okampepe Evangelical Lutheran Church Parish, where she is still a member. Ladies and gentlemen, when she was older, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho got engaged and married to a late husband, Aaron Shiama. In Oshuambo culture, the wife leaves the homestead of her parents and migrates to the house and village of her husband. It was on this account that Meekulu Mwadinomho moved to Okampepe village after marriage. Her marriage was blessed with 8 children, 7 boys and 1 girl. Sadly, of the 8 children, only 3 are still alive, and these are as follows: Johanna Shihama, Vilo Shihama, and the last born, Titus Shihama. Your Excellency, Chancellor Sir, allow me to give you a brief about Meekulu's public life as Ohamba yOukwanyama. Reflecting on the years of Namibia's liberation struggle, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho ya Christian Nelumbu had been and still a resident of Okampembe village in the now Ongenga constituency. Okampembe and Ongenga villages were considered safe havens for plan combatants at the time, and the residents of these villages were renowned for their resistance to the continued occupation of Namibia by South Africa. In her own right, despite not having been on the actual battlefields, and like many other women in her area of Okampembe, Meekulu asserted her aspiration for Namibia's independence and freedom. She supported the valiant freedom fighters People's Liberation Army of Namibia plan, the then SWAPO military wing, with food. She would do so with shelter, clothes, and whenever possible, with funds. In collaboration with others, she nursed the wounded at times, hid their weapons, risking her own life in the process. Let us give her a round of applause. Additionally, Meekulu was one of the village women who formed prayer groups to pray for the safety and well-being of Namibian sons and daughters in exile, for peace and for independence of Namibia, and also for an end to brutality that was perpetuated by the South African Army. Meekulu bravely withstood constant harassment by the Kufut and Southwest Africa Territorial Forces and challenged their brutality in every manner possible and still survive to tell the story today. Round of applause. It deserves a round of applause. Her resoluteness during the uncertain era of the struggle for Namibia's independence contributed massively in advancing the cause of Namibia's freedom and independence. Ladies and gentlemen, it is recorded that after independence, the yOukwanyama people started looking for the yOukwanyama royal family to choose their new leader until Reverend Nathaniel Shinana and others found the late Cornelius Mwetupunga Shalungu from the royal lineage. They then inaugurated him as Ohamba of Ohambanyama in 1998. After his death in November 2005, Ohamba Meekulu Martha, a cousin from the same royal lineage, was installed to succeed him on 12 November 2005. Her nomination as Ohamba of Ohambanyama was indisputable, as it was done in accordance with the wishes of her late uncle, Mwetupunga Shalungu. It is noteworthy to mention, Your Excellencies, that Ohambanyama were never ruled by a female Ohamba, and thus Meekulu Martha is the first woman to head and reign as Ohamba of this traditional authority, covering 12 districts, 59 clusters, and 607 wards. Whereas there have been women or female Ohamba in the Ohambanyama tradition, but none of them ever reigned. Hence, Ohamba Meekulu Martha provides a window for articulating the emergence of the debate about gender, authority, and social change, juxtaposed between traditional customs and modernity from the perspective and dynamics of the Ohambanyama traditional authority, which is matrilineal. Your Excellencies, I will not read the entire citation, but allow me to share with you Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho, Christian Nelumbu's legacy and vision. In terms of philanthropy, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho serves as a role model for the entire Ohambanyama community and beyond, as she encourages charity, volunteering, and active citizenship. Over the years, through her directive and support, the Omheti Palace cares for over 45 abandoned children and about 27 homeless adults. She made a conscious call in September 2015, and we all remember this call. She made a conscious call in September 2015 to all young women in Namibia not to commit illegal abortions and kill babies or abandon them, but to bring those babies to the palace. Similarly, Meekulu successfully initiated the establishment of a kindergarten on the Omheti premises to cater for orphans and abandoned children under her care at the palace, as well as other children in the immediate neighborhoods. I have seen this with my own eyes, so I can testify. It's absolutely true. The kindergarten, accommodating children from 4 through to 6 years old, currently has a population of 41 children. Meekulu will therefore leave a formidable legacy of selflessness and service of her subjects, the yOukwanyama community. Now, I must say, this story resonates with me because I'm an orphan myself, and seeing a true mother sitting right next to me. Similarly, Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho is a renowned personality in venturing for the youth. As testimony, Mwadinomho Combined School in Ontanghaluka village, about 30 kilometers north of Ondangwa, was renamed after her in 2007 in recognition of her extraordinary contributions in youth education and empowerment. The community felt the name Ontanghaluka was coincidental and did not reflect the wishes of the people, who felt the name of the school should reflect the togetherness of the yOukwanyama people. Hence, in honor of Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho's influence on the community and the yOukwanyama Traditional Authority at large, the school got renamed. This reflects the community's faith and loyalty to their Ohamba and the Traditional Authority. More recently, Your Excellencies, convinced of the need of her people to have easy access to higher education, Meekulu Mwadinomho led a strong delegation to Windhoek, the seat of the Namibian government. She felt the youth were suffering, since most of them could not afford to come and study in Windhoek. She maintains that Windhoek is far, and the majority have nowhere to stay while pursuing their studies. As a result, she first sought the mandate from her people. Hence, in 2016, at the office of the Traditional Authority in Ohangwena, Meekulu raised and discussed the need to have an institution of higher learning in Ohangwena region. The people, through this meeting, mandated her to see the head of state regarding the initiative. In pursuit of this initiative, a steering committee was established, chaired by the late Ambassador Hadino Ishongwa, may his soul rest in peace, with Master Joshua Ujombala as secretary, to mention but some. In 2016, Meekulu and her delegation met the president. Subsequently, in March 2017, the Minister of Higher Education, Honorable Dr. Ita Kanji Murangi, met with Meekulu's delegation. The minister suggested to the delegation that a campus and not a new university be established in the area. This was a welcomed move since Meekulu Mwadinomho's aspirations or aspired for was a higher learning education institution to be brought closer to the people. To her, it was not important whether this was a new institution or an extension of the existing ones. That was the birth of the Enana Satellite Campus of the Namibia University of Science and Technology. Let us give her a round of applause. Consequently, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Kanji Murangi, appointed His Excellency, the former President, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, to be the patron to the soon to become a university campus in this area. With the establishment of NUST in Enana campus, Meekulu's ultimate wish is that the campus grows, that it expands in size, and extends the education services to the people in remote rural areas and other regions in the country, so that the people in remote areas can empower themselves through access to quality education. She aspires that the NUST campus continues to prosper and offer not only quality education, but education that is responsive to the needs of the people and their development. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, this doctorate talks about leadership, and very often this is a term that is not quite clearly understood. Let us put it in context. One need not search for long public policy literature maintains that some problems are too massive to be solely tamed by government interventions and too broad-ranging and dynamic to be fully understood by conventional scientific research. I'm a scientist, and this is probably true. Now, Tirma et al., scientists would know what I mean, argue that these are wicked problems, while Shans et al. Call them grand challenges as they feature high levels of complexity. Ladies and gentlemen, the centrality of leadership in tackling wicked problems is a testimony that leadership is not a science, but art. It is the art of engaging and coordinating a community effort in facing up to complex, diversified, and uncertain problems. Therefore, Ohamba, yOukwanyama, Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho ya Christine Nulumbi, in no small measure, has demonstrated her capacity for leadership in tackling some of the grand challenges of our time. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize the important role of traditional authorities in governance and economic sustainability in Namibia. How does that relate to our Ohamba Meekulu? Traditional authority is still a distinguished feature in the landscapes of contemporary Africa. In many of these countries, traditional leadership remains relevant in sustaining the life of their subjects at the local level despite parallel coexistence of modern state structures. In this backdrop, Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho serves as a role model for the entire yOukwanyama community and beyond, as she encourages, as we've mentioned before, charity, volunteering, and active citizenship, acts with which are in line with her role and authority. For example, over the years, through her directive and support, the Almighty Palace, as we've mentioned, cares for over 45 abandoned children and about 27 homeless adults, among many other similar acts. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you context. Namibia attaining independence through selfless contributions of individuals such as Meekulu. That's on page 15 if you have a copy in front of you. Meekulu Mwadinomho Martha Christian Yanelumbu, like other northern women, made a crucial contribution to Namibia's independence by helping the People's Liberation Army of Namibia plan by giving them the basic needs such as food, water, and shelter, and by letting them know, Dr. Nikondo, letting them know whether there were enemy around. He knows what I mean. The Omedi village where Meekulu Mwadinomho Martha Christian Yanelumbu is currently residing begins with the colonial occupation of the kingdom by Portugal and South Africa during World War I, which led to the displacement of the kingship to the southern half of the territory, which is now divided by an international boundary between Angola and Namibia. Since 1915, the yOukwanyama pre-colonial kingdom has made a significant contribution to Namibia's attainment of independence. The institutions of kingship was abolished and a council of headmen were established in its stead after resistance by the previous king, Mandume Ndemefayo. One prominent headman, Chukuma, became one of the senior headmen raised to unprecedented levels of authority by colonial control. Omhedi village was designated as an enforcement location. Ladies and gentlemen, I would hasten to come to the very essence of this citation by presenting the gratuent of this distinguished honor. I'm on page 17. If you have the citation in front of you. In pursuance of NUST statutes, rules, and regulations, section 2, 2.1a to c, page 45, the university is empowered to bestow upon qualified nominees an honorary doctoral degree as appropriate. These stipulations include, among others, evidence of distinguished service rendered in the advancement of any branch of learning or record of distinguished service or achievement deemed appropriate to the university to recognize publicly, and includes 1, service of excellence in the interest of the community in fields such as statesmanship, culture, societal enrichment, politics, education, economics, and arts. Number 2, a person nominated for an honorary degree should have a record of such nature that the conferring of an honorary degree would bring credit to the university and would not be a variance with the spirit of the university's declared vision, mission, and value statements. Hence, by joining hands in support of NUST, dedicated ambitions to reach all Namibians through the provision of multiple pathways for excellent education, applied research, innovation, and service in collaboration with stakeholders. We're confident that Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho Lumbu, yOukwanyama, traditional authority, and a grassroots leader for the Namibian nation, has demonstrated her dedication and willingness to selflessly support Namibians in resolving the many vulnerabilities and weaknesses in the Namibian society through charity, volunteering, and active citizenship, thus advancing no less degree the cause of humanity. Through her life, ladies and gentlemen, starting from a humble beginning, Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho Lumbu represents rich lessons to be learned by the present generation. It represents a synthesis of traditional cultural values and modernity as depicted in the yOukwanyama traditions. Ohamba Meekulu Martha's life contrasts the narratives that are deeply rooted in patriarchal cultural norms and practices, as it is a testimony of what matrilineal can contribute to advancing African societies. Ohamba Meekulu Martha's life shows what the fusion of humility and philanthropy can accomplish in our society. Through her life, she practices and encourages charity, volunteering, and active citizenship, values that are fast disappearing in the African culture. Among others, Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho's life demonstrates a resolute devotion of one's time to something bigger than themselves, conduct of oneself with grace, with dignity and thoughtfulness in the face of adversity and life challenges, prioritizing family because it is such an important social unit that eventually forms the society and the foundation of our civilization. Recognizing the sanctity and the sacredness of life itself and endeavors to protect and preserve it, being the type of change agent one desires to see in the world. Kindness to the people one deals with, but not allowing them to push one around. Raising a humble community requires self-humility and survival in times of difficulties and natural calamities requires laboring hard and preserving food for one's posterity. Your Excellency, Mr. Chancellor, said, our candidate, who have no doubt contributed to social capital development, inclusive of quality education for all, and an emphasis on lifelong learning and philanthropy, which is captured in SDG 4, among others. Our candidate has made meaningful contribution to social justice, economic emancipation, and economic growth of our country. As a nation, convinced and proud of Ohamba's achievement, today we are honoring not only a traditional leader, but indeed a national icon for an outstanding career achievement. Mr. Chancellor said, on recommendations of the Honorary Awards Committee, the Senate, and the approval by the Council of the Namibia University of Science and Technology, I present to you Ohamba Meekulu Martha Mwadinomho ya Christian Nolumbi of yOukwanyama Traditional Authority to be conferred a Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa degree in leadership and change management. I thank you.